So vanilla.
Doing this again, yeah? Yeah, and also for Liquid, we've seen many times through every iteration of Liquid that Billy, they're able to close games out, and they're able to close games out on Ascent. They've always been good on Ascent.
Yeah, they have always been good on Ascent. And I think as well, Team Liquid are they're a team that are not going to go down without a fight. We've seen that all throughout this year, where they were honestly the ones that were surprising me at the beginning of the year. So yeah, I think going into this, they're fine.
Yeah, I was really interested to see who was going to start on defense. GiantX starting there. I do think that is a massive advantage coming into the third map. Both teams look phenomenal on their defense in their recent games, and we're not sure how great Team Liquid are on attack because they haven't played this map on attack for a while. But they beat Fnatic so much they didn't really need to play it.
No,
so
saving strat.
Exactly. So I'm just excited to see what level these teams are at facing each other.
How many Vision Striker strats do you think we're going to see from these two teams?
Team Liquid do like to throw in the aggression, especially in the past when they played comps that weren't so Vision Striker-esque. They would play these very passive comps and still do it. So with this kind of composition, I imagine some aggression too. From both sides, to be honest with you. Team Liquid likes to do it on this map. GiantX, as I say, set up as his team on defense and like to do aggression. So I expect a little bit of it.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's going to be your regular kind of Ascent, especially with these two compositions. I think Ara as well has shown that he can be quite an explosive duelist, and the Operator as well is something that has been a really key thing for him. So if he can get set up on that on the defense pretty early on, then that's a good win for them.
Yeah, and I think Westside has a lot of pressure because Camo's pathing on Ascent has been a problem for other teams. You know, he's very explosive, and Paddy, again, back on his comfort as well. And I want to see the website. I want to see the west side, Billy, that we saw on Corrode.
Yeah, exactly. I did say, you know, he was kind of the ones I was looking at to step up as that anchor. And I think on Ascent, we do expect him to do it again here. I think that he's had a lot of individual moments, but I think as well he needs to recognize when that aggression coming out from Liquid is going to get too much and he's going to be overwhelmed on that defense, and just being able to drop back and play disciplined and accept when it's a fight that you're not going to win. That's going to be the key thing for him here with the experience.
I think the biggest win condition, picking up on something you said earlier, is Ara getting economy for that operator though. If he's able to stay, like, Ascent can be one of those maps where you can't stabilize the economy on defense. Sometimes you're like winning, just don't have enough for it, but if they can consistently get it, that's a big win condition.
Well, we're gonna rely on GX winning a goddamn pistol. Let's see it then. Over to you, Mitch and Tom.
Thank you very much, Yinsu. Yes, it's time to get into the third map of the series, the final one of the day. And going into map number 2, I was doubtful that we would end up here, but I said we've seen GX bounce back one map to another. They got dominated on their own pick of Sunset. They stole Corrode from Team Liquid with a 2-round gap, and now it all comes down to this, a spot in the upper final up for grabs. And one map to separate them.
GX, of course, we've already mentioned the stakes. They are not a team that are anywhere near the points bracket of anybody else looking to qualify for champions. They need to make it to the grand final, and it would be them facing off against BBL, which if your pick'ems have that, crazy. You're a genius. You have foresight that maybe no other has. For Liquid, of course, the expectation is that they'll be in that upper final and get themselves ever closer to another international event. Nonetheless, they'll start off on the attack side, and GX will have that favored start.
As mentioned by the desk, both teams having very good defensive showings. Team Liquid, they didn't show much of the attack, as Sue said, up against Fnatic. See how that attack is going to shape up. I think the Camo Ara head-to-head, something that we have to look forward to. As Sue said, Camo can be so annoying to deal with, and he was the guy that was putting in work when it came to their last matchup. Then again, the whole team was.
Yeah, even thinking back to just some of the clutches that Trex was able to win. I think we'll have to see if it's a different showing from him after a bit of a rough time on the last map. Even still, though, after starting on a B contact through mid, they're now making their way all the way back into A main. That knife timing is perfect from Flickless. He was a big part of their defensive side, getting the info. The smoke immediately goes up, and because of that, with 30 seconds left, Liquid have been halted.
That means they have to force fights like that. Nat's caught swinging wide, and the whole body of GX here waiting for Team Liquid to step into the site. An in-zone flawless in round number 1, and a pistol picked up by GX.
Yeah, that's the thing. I really want to sort of highlight again, like what was so pivotal for them in their match versus Na'Vi yesterday was just having that additional information. I think Rubinho did really well with his smoke and paranoia timing, but Flickless's utility, especially with the knife, just did fantastically well. So he's someone I definitely think we need to watch going forward into this match. Of course, it is only the pistol. Long way to go. If GX are going to pull off the second upset of the day. And already, it's a little bit shaky, but Flickless will get at least a 2-for-1.
Eyes down.
Nice opening for Ara as well towards that flank. They've got 2 players pushing up, and these classics put under so much pressure from all sides. Nowhere to retreat back to, and Trax, he might not have been in hell literally, but figuratively will be, as he's taken out 2-0 on the board. GX with a solid start to this map. We saw the stat fly up a little earlier that Team Liquid have a 100% post-plant win rate. Well, that has obviously taken a little bit of a blow in this round. You also have to look at the fact that they played, what, 13-1 up against Fnatic, I believe, starting defense, and then they played Apex as well. So, what are you trying to say? I think I've got my point across.
No, I would like it. As you said, that stat has just tumbled. But it was only the second round, a few extra credits earned for the side of GX. Interestingly, we're actually going to see that sniper, the Marshal, kept through into this round. So for Ara, it's definitely going to be a bit of a tougher one. Ult-wise, the closest is going to be Flickless. Well, an early smoke placed just to deny that sniper any real chance.
It certainly became a part of Corrode on the attack for Liquid, was trying to deny Ara with the op when he had the big sniper in hand. We even saw different Viper walls going into position. No surprise it's the same here. Deep flash from Flickless, a chance to trade back his fallen comrade, but only one that will be taken with it. And then you look at Ara, what can he do with the sniper? He has to go down to the Sheriff, sit inside the smoke. Cloud goes, oh, okay. Cloud goes out, goes down, but Ara's pick ends up with a rifle in his hand with a bulldog to play with. Well, that's unfortunate. I was going to say that the 2v2, the late flank coming in, this actually looks very nice, but, well, now it's quite a difficult duel for Westside to win.
Yeah, it was an interesting plant spot to begin with, but Trax has managed to style it out with a quick kill. Westside taking his time just to clear out any of those unknown angles, and while with the shots fired, this double peak will be well timed. I mentioned Trex and whether or not he was going to have a better map. I think that's already a better start.
Oh, without a doubt. 2-1 on the board. A necessary win, though, for Team Liquid, and it does get dicey. Quite a bit of damage done on the other side. I mean, they had decent weapons, but it's that fight there that made this very scary indeed. There is a world, probably a lot of worlds, where Ara ends up winning that battle, but they've done the bare minimum. They've gotten their round on the board in round 3, but here's the full buy, and here's where the real fear starts to seep in. You've got Ara playing with the operator. He'll be on short this time, knowing that smoke will be blocking him out of mid-fights for quite a bit. The cage doesn't last quite as long, but he'll have his chance soon.
That was what was highlighted on the desk. Will they have the finances to get this in early? It's definitely something that they've made a focal point. It's a good paranoia, but there was a second layer in Flickless. It was almost left as a bait to try and pull them into that operator. The util from Liquid was good, and well, Nats has managed to find an isolated fight, but Flickless, he's setting himself up with the battles. 3 already in this round. Another multi-frag for him on the KO. And now what's left? Pico and Trex. Still got to be careful not to overface.
The more I watch Flickless, man, the more of a fan I become of him. Thinking back in the game in Nat V, like the rotate he made from spawn for the perfect flash just in time. His utility's always delightful to look at, and while he is having quite a round himself,
win this.
That's a 4K, but a 1v2 for Trex. And you talked about, and we saw the other week, how dangerous this man can be in the clutches, in the post plants, with one player already tagged up. This is winnable.
I wonder if they swap guns. Well, Ara's already got rid of that operator. Time is ticking. Trex has ult, but using it would almost be instant death, and they know exactly where he is now. That information removes quite a few corners, but they're being careful with it. The pop flash hasn't caught, but that was his best opportunity with Flickless already desperately low. That's a reveal, but he doesn't want to give away too much. Doesn't want to run out of ammo. He's caught one, but doesn't know Hara is as close as he is. A nice try from Trex, but there will be enough time for that defusal to get over the line, and GX are going to extend that lead.
All signs pointing towards a close map here. The first buy round we have. It has to be Flickless to drag them out of those early disadvantages, putting them on the board with the double. They're left in a 2v1 that he goes down eventually. His battle scars certainly showing. Despite the 4K coming out, they're still able to get it across the line. Or so, more so with the 4K coming out. Without that, the round's going to fall into disarray, and I like that. This is certainly looking like a better showing from GX. Night and day to Sunset.
Oh, here is the pace change. Camo already taking control of the switch. Cloud being revealed, but with so many stingers, it's not like a wallbang's going to be able to do too much. Flash, again, very good, but capitalizing on it's going to be difficult. If they can isolate Westside, they've got an opportunity, but that is a lot easier said than done. Bullets becoming low, but he now has the support of a teammate in Ara. And this leaves it all onto Kiko. Nothing to be found. 3 still stand. GX with a good hold.
Again, just a round that you expect them to get across the line. The investments from Team Liquid not that high, and they've kept their ults as well. We saw an opportunity in the previous round where Trex could have thrown it in, but it would have been the end of him, especially with a knife still online when you're up against that KO. Coming out of this one, you will have a timeout called. It's Team Liquid looking to take a moment, as they saw the same thing on Corrode. A very strong start from GX, and sure, Liquid managed to find themselves in the end, but it was too little too late.
Yeah, it feels like for both sides, the attack side rounds on this map and the last are going to be the grind. It's going to be all about getting those over the line. Now, a man that I wanted to highlight for reasons other than what we're currently seeing in the server. Obviously, Torgi's 9 and 4, he's doing great, but it's those assists per round. Number 2 in all of EMEA, and basically the glue of this GX side. What he's able to do specifically on this map, having the delay of the fragment, but the knife. Even though his flashes have been sublime all the way through the tournament, the knife and getting that early information makes such a massive difference, and I think Flickless is excellent at his timing.
Yeah, and I think more so in the last couple weeks, we have seen him come into it of his own. These are his overall stage 2 stats, but as you start to look at more recent games, he's had those sparks where individually he looks great. Yeah. But the thing that draws me to Flickless the most is just how consistent the utility seems to be, which is why I was surprised hearing that Ara in an interview had said, like, a lot of team flashes come my way that kind of interrupt how I can play. I'm like, bro, I think you're being set up a lot more than you're being set up to fail.
Maybe he throws 10 flashes, one goes wrong, you're going to remember the one that goes wrong.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. No one behind him. We're just going to forget that ever happened and move on and not slow-mo replay it. It's all right. He has a null command. Util will be gone anyway, but so will his head, at least for a second.
Yeah, he's brought right back up, but Westside takes his moment to strike, still into a 4v4 as Camo finds another, and GX numbers on the B side. They're running thin. 2 left outside of spawn with no way to fight back in. They just have to wait as the utility fades, but no information on site. Nats sitting inside of main. Players all over the shop ready for the battle, and GX, they're not seeing those opportunities materialize. There's no way in. They realize that door is shut and there's no point running head first into it. It's a save from the defensive side in a 3v4.
Yeah, I think when the operator is so expensive, their economy is, it's okay right now, but you don't want to start having to limit your own purchase for a round that it's very unlikely you're going to win. Like, this retake's always going to be difficult. They had to face a lot of it without utility, and then not even having Cloud left alive to sort of at least give you a reveal. Ara's going to try and make this one a little bit more costly, but the smoke is nice. It's just going to shroud off those extra chances for him to find a kill. And Liquid will be able to keep things going with 4. I like that. Change of pace, quickly into the B site, especially after failing in the round before with weaker weapons. I don't think they were quite ready for it. And yeah, I knew that was coming.
Oh, they got caught on the fence. Yeah, that's unfortunate. That's Orlushko. But I do think that the priorities for both teams in this round He did miss the knife, yes. I think the priorities for both teams were in line. Liquid wanting to save, using the cage to cross on the way out. They know that holding onto those weapons is their way back in. And for GX not going for it in the first place, they know that they give Liquid a way in if they do just throw themselves headfirst into the blender. So both teams making the right call.
Here's a flash.
Flash primed. It's ready. The knife broken again. Okay, so not going to get much off that part of the info.
Try and combine the two. It looks like they got a paranoia ready, but they're just waiting for contact. No contact coming, so they're going to go swinging. Definitely a little bit risky. Paranoia hasn't landed either. Definitely Liquid maybe showing a little bit more respect. The players on the other side. Been those flashes that caused them so many issues. And maybe now seeing the Flickless isn't over on that short side, they can fight elsewhere.
Camo's just going to sit here for most of the round. If he gets a pick, that's their way back to the B site. And maybe if you see GX go aggressive now, not seeing any of that space being held by Liquid, he could find himself a freebie. But for that to happen, the pressure needs to be put elsewhere, and it's the A site where it is firmly applied. West side down, Flickless catches Camo on the retreat at least, though. That's going to give GX something,
30 seconds
as they're
left.
still in this 3v3. But look at Kiko. He's going to play this very late down through short, making sure there's no one pushing mid, there's no extra info, and he'll get a backstab. I think his timing's going to be perfect.
Well, they also have Hunter's Fury. Look at where Trex is on the map, so even if they start getting in a little bit quicker, Trex will be there to slow them down.
It's free.
There goes that. Oh, it almost wasn't free. It seemed like it might be costly, but Kiko gets the job done, and now the remaining players are in trouble. Grabinho's done well, Ara has as well, and now it's left to the Clutch King, but they know where he is already. One player revealed, but if he gets this kill, it feels like the round is done, and he just jumps into the fray. Shock dart, it clips the wall, but with Hunter's Fury, he knows it's already done. He knows the opponent isn't on it, and Trex is just going to save that for the next round. Grabinho just gives up in the end. It will be another Red Bull clutch, and guess what? It's Trex to do it.
You can replay that from every angle, that little fight on main. You can essentially have a one-piece cut of it if you want. That was insane. The pressure he was put under, how quickly this side hold falls, that you lose your backside player. You lose all security, all cover, and Trex goes jumping in. Look at that.
That is literally
Insane,
like
Nikita.
Neo. That's
He
literally,
dashed
he
on
just
top
dodged
Jenny.
the knives.
Oh my god.
I can't. When I saw him jump, I was like, this guy's lost his mind. But it's worked out. He must feel like a superhero right now. Camo certainly doesn't. He's being destroyed. Oh no!
Hey,
What's happening outside B?
Yeah, they've gone for the combo of that utility, but it's kind of ended up disjointed, but worked even better for them. Kiko now on the site. Patatek has found one back, and Westside's kind of walked in on his own. He's going to take so much damage as he tries to retreat from a heavy advantage, quickly dismantling
Spike planted.
into just even footing. And if anything, with one player very low and weaker weaponry, it could be a problem. Hunter's Fury's been used.
Oh, no.
He doesn't know about that flank. Kiko's still going strong, but this time Trex has been caught.
Smoke sent in towards Heaven as well. Just blocking that hell angle completely, but Kiko mounts it up and ends up taking one, but it's not done yet. Ara still drawing breath. Time on the clock as well, but he has no idea where Patatek's gotten to. The element of surprise, and that's what's going to win it out for Patty. Team Liquid have tied things up 4-4 now. The pause that we've had not that long ago, I think will be followed up on pretty soon. GX has got to be feeling like the pressure's being put on. This round started out so well. That mid push working wonders, but it all fell apart.
That's the thing. I feel like once they got the two-player advantage, I understand they still had weak weapons, but that's when the gambles needed to stop. Like, they wanted to get ahead of it. They wanted to shut down the round early, and it ended up biting them. But the fact is, you look at these couple of rounds for GX, and they lose one to a 1v2 clutch. They lose the next to a 1v1 clutch. Like, they could be in the lead still. And we've mentioned it already, how important attack side rounds are. Liquid sat 4-4. No matter how they've got the rounds, they're going to be happy with it.
There's potential for much more, but Flickless,
Down B.
he's just made this very costly. The start of the round, and they're already down by 2. I mean, Flickless is barely alive. But he stuck it out in that corner. Destroyed the reveal, didn't get killed by the spam, and the smoke's gonna fade. He's gotta make a choice. He's sticking around, and he's got more! Unreal round from Flickless.
Yeah, they spammed it quite a bit, so I guess the expectation was that he left Trex. He's seen the bullets flying through and is going to try and mount a fight off of it, but they have been decimated. GX, they have been fighting for B main aggressively, but once again, there is only one real highlight, and it is Flickless. The guy is having a game.
It was the same on Sunset, where he was in a lot of these positions that looked like he shouldn't get much, but he was always able to somehow squeeze that extra bit of potential out of these bad situations.
Nice, guys! Nice fleek! Nice fleeky! Locks last.
Right here.
Nice, boys. Let's go, boys.
On this map, it's a different flavor altogether. 13 and 7. We've complimented his utility, a lot of it even used for himself. The control he's kept, the temper of his aggression looking at the mid-fight just a few rounds ago, but here, that was outrageous. Team Liquid have got to be feeling upset now, left on pistols, with a Blade Storm being the main thing to highlight.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to mention. They won 2 rounds in a row, but it really doesn't matter too much. With how much damage has been done, a pretty hefty gap left for Camo. Oh wow, that one's not entering a highlight reel.
No joke.
Not able to connect, and one of, as you said, the few dangers in this round has been dismantled. Grabinho playing a nasty off angle. He's going to get 2 for his money.
One enemy remaining.
West side gets the same.
Down A.
Camo left
That's how he
alone.
gets it.
He gets a rifle out of this, it could get dangerous, and that's why Cloud's keeping that cross secure. The operator retrieved, the 6th round found, and they'll continue to climb up into the lead. Like you said though, Tom, it is a grind on that attack side. It will be for GX as well, most likely. They really want to be closing. I mean, okay, maybe not in the last ones, but the first ones, it feels like he was a little bit wrong. Bloody close. Those knives should at least have slowed down the other Jet, stuck in her hair, but what can you do? But yeah, for GX, they want to finish out on 8 here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Want to give themselves the buffer. Saw it in the last map that even with a 9-round streak, it came down to just, well, it came down to 11-11 and then finally managing to find the last couple of rounds. I didn't believe that they'd be able to take it over the line. And even an extra round here for Liquid, I think they'll come out of that quite happy going into the defensive half. Even still, no command available. Last time they had it online, we saw them sprint into the B site. That's why Ara has taken full control of that side of the map. And because of that, we have a very hefty stack from GX over on A.
And that's where the hit's coming in. Right read, right time. Flickless is the one to open. We talked about Camo's Jet, but it won't get much beyond space and info. But now they run into the rest of the squad, and they are not moving quite as easily. Panatek fading into the abyss as he was left on his knees. Team Liquid 4-7 now as GX looks set to put 8 on the board.
Really nice call on the stack up. Having 4 players on this side of the map, the second that Ara was able to take that early control. Great calling from the side of GX, and while from that point onwards, it's all about just hitting their shots, which is exactly what happens for Westside. 7-4, those 3 rounds in a row have not been enough to dishearten GX. Now with credits to spare, they go into the final round of the half.
It will be a slow approach from Liquid, but they've spread the net early. They've got themselves some positions without forcing the fights. Camo tucked up in mid. But really, the idea here, you're looking for that aggression from GX. You're spotting for that A play early, nothing there. No mid fights, no B aggression. It is very much going to be all on Liquid to make the moves because GX are set up with some trap plays. First, you see that short position held with Grabinho a little bit further back with a flash in position. The main one is what they've just spotted. Ara towards B, he was holding the line, he was waiting with the operator, but now he'll take a few steps back as they're worried about that market space being given up. But that pick onto Nat, that gives them so much relief of the pressure put on early. They've secured backside.
This needs to be a big Hunter's Fury from Camo. Oh, sorry. Coming out from the attack, and Camo's found another one.
Here.
This definitely makes things interesting, but look at the time left. for them to try and make this switch. He needs to hold the line. That's exactly what he's done. I'm looking at the other side, though, in Cloud. He's still here. He could be the thorn in their side. 15 seconds. His goal needs to be to drop the spike, but he's only going to get the one. That's enough for Liquid to at least get the plant in. And Camo, who has been a pain in their ass all the way through this round, is going to continue to be holding that line as they'll plant with a second to spare. This leaves Ara knowing where his opponent is, but they are waiting for him on the other side. Panitak is there to close, while Liquid, they get it done with seconds to spare.
2 rounds between them. Hey, with GX winning the pistol to start this out, that's the only thing separating the two. It's been one hell of a fight from Team Liquid to pull this back to a 7-5 scoreline. And now they'll move on to the defense after the break.
Survivor's rest. I'll clean up.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Welcome back, folks. 7-5. GX with the lead, but only barely, as Team Liquid had a resurgence towards the end of the first half. Now we're in the final half of the series, and for both of these teams, pushing all the way to the top 2. That's the name of the game, and an upper bracket route with BBL in their way. Let's see who can lock it in.
God, 2 leaders. Mentioned it earlier that they picked up the mantle when their team needed it. Well, the fact is their calls could be the deciding factor going into this final half of regulation. Nats has been having a rough time, 2-11 right now, but that was on the attack side. An aggressive GX definitely forcing him into awkward fights. Now they'll have to enter his territory as Liquid will look to mount that defensive side. For the attack side of GX, this is where things have been a little bit of a struggle. We saw it on the last map. They really had to grind out those rounds, and this time, well, 3 or 4 will not be enough.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a strong display from Team Liquid. Defensive side, GX, they won the pistol. Starting at the previous, their stats are not great when it comes to pistols, but one here is the leg up that they so desperately need. Otherwise, it's a foot in the door for Team Liquid. They'll soon be neck and neck with their opposition, and it all comes down to this A main fight that's being forced. Ara spots out the info, that gets the flash out, and at least the trade to start. They wanted a bit more than that.
It seems like even temptation to try and battle for this. Oh, it's not pretty from Trek. He's going to run out of bullets, but his teammates have done the work elsewhere. Spike down on the ground. 2 players looking to hold on to it. And well, it's Westside. You do not want to give him anything, hence the smoke.
It's not quite a sheriff in his hands, but it might as well be looking at the HP, the higher fire rate.
He's trying to isolate Nance. Nance isn't giving him anything.
He's made the right call, though. Door closed to his back is at least secure. He can fight forward, but that rotation in Nance, like you said, it's going to be a problem. They've got a high-low on him with a player sitting inside wine for the wide swing. Hell of a scenario to walk out of with your head held high, and Kiko rips his head clean off. Pistol round for Team Liquid, the gap down to 1, and the defense, they should be putting this even.
Yeah, I also want to just give a little bit of context for those of you who may not know what this sort of means. For GX, a victory here will put them into a match versus BBL where the winner goes to champions.
No. I hit
the only way
him.
that GX can make it to champions.
I'm faster right now, IS. I'm faster right now, IS.
Is by getting into that grand final. For Liquid, because Heretics are not going straight into it. The points are now actually very tight. Obviously, Fnatic have already qualified, so only one other team can get through on the points. The other will need to make it to the grand final. Now, obviously, Heretics are not out. Liquid, if they lose this, will not be out. But it's definitely a lot more stress than I think most people would have expected for both of those teams.
Yeah, especially looking at early season performances, I think both are expected to be the ones making it the distance. Alongside the usuals like Fnatic. There's a world where that's not the case. If Team Liquid keep up their winning ways, there'll be nothing to worry about. For GX, this round expected to be as dominant as it is. It's a huge investment from Liquid with just one pistol in play. Losing that, not going to be the end of the world. Even got the regen shields too, so huge economic round for that defensive side. And I think huge round for Nats as well. I'm pretty sure he left the first half with like 2 kills in a really, really rough showing, and that's not something we're used to seeing from him, regardless of map or side.
Yeah. Now bouncing back into form with it in zone flawless as well. And the fact is, yeah, I think the GX did very well to like get aggressive and isolate him and Camo. They were the two that normally left on islands alone, and I don't think any corner was left unchecked, and that's where Nats normally lurks. On the defensive side, it's a different story. They're walking into his setup, and he has some of the best setups in the world. Most of them, in fact, are stolen by everybody else. Ara, though, is already going to start this round off well. Paditech dropped, and while that setup of Nats is going to be tested, but he only has himself a Spectre. Luckily, he's got a bit of support.
Yeah, nice spam from Camo. Let's see if he's got another one now that the smokes bloom. No, he tries to dive in. And they are ready, waiting with open arms to welcome him. Trex and Kiko, though, well, they're throwing this hospitality away. It's a deep push from Ara and Grabinho, and it works wonders. Nats is alone. Both players tagged. The Spectre, not the ideal weapon for this fight. He'll swap over, grab himself a Phantom, but he's cut off on the rotation. He'll have to deal with Grabinho, but yeah, 42 HP, possibly against a Spectre, possibly an upgraded rifle. Playing together here is definitely the way to maximize your chances. I like this call from Grabinho and Ara.
Spike planted.
Still an opportunity for Nats. Both players looking to face, and Grabinho's a little bit ahead. The cam available, looking for a spot, but he wants to just try and get that player to give the game away. He's now seen exactly where his opponent is going to be standing. Looking for that final phase, but Ara will hit the shot. It's almost a bonus round victory, but ultimately GX do reclaim their lead.
Yeah, again, coming way too close for comfort. Those two fights, a big reveal sent through, but Ara and Grabinho winning their individuals and set them up for success. As you said, definitely expecting it to be a little bit more clean, as there will be a challenge immediately from Team Liquid. They don't go on to an eco. No, that's the bonus. Yeah. Now the big buy comes out, and there is an outlaw for Camo to look at as a potential weakness. But look at the shields on the other side. With the economy chipped away at, 4 players are one shot to this weapon.
It's dangerous.
Flash.
Economy of GX is about as on the brink as it could be, looking to try and hit. Oh, Ace! They made Kiko stay there, and he still hits the shot. Even still, Westside has delivered. Paditech on the edge of the smoke. We've seen problems caused by this exact angle before, and a problem will be caused again. The crossfire of Paditech has leveled up that scoreline, and the damage that was done in the previous round is now going to show its teeth.
Yeah, it's 8-8 in terms of the score, right? The numbers on the top of your screen make this look like a close game. But there is a clear leader.
Just let him leave. Let him leave.
That's ridiculous. But a clear leader right now in the form of Team Liquid. They've got the economy behind them. They've managed to deal with that big push. They made their bonus round look incredibly close. This early half on the defense is looking like the stronger of halves for Team Liquid. And for GX, they're on pistols, like we said. Economical disadvantage. They're probably going to lose the lead.
Oh, yeah. And then the most important thing is the favor of the side. Like it was mentioned on the desk. We've mentioned it throughout the cast. We expect both these teams to be better on the defense. So having an early start, an early boost to economy as well, that is not the story that GX wanted. From 7-5 up, it almost feels guaranteed that Liquid will take the lead. And any gap that was left on the A site has already been filled in. For GX, this round can only really come down to damage, and maybe if Cloud can get an orb or two, that would be nice.
If GX had won the pistol here in the second half, pushed up to 9 or 10, then yeah, we're looking at a decent chance for them. But now they have quite the mountain to climb, even at 8-8. Winning this round would, you know, it would be wonderful, but chance is not looking likely. The respect given by Team Liquid, with the exception of this fight from Nats.
30 seconds left.
They're always worried about like a shorty diving through, but he has no fear. Absolutely none. Running it down towards them, and sure, he'll fall in the end. That rifle will be lost. Camo's on the other side of the map with the Outlaw, but it's 9-8. The defensive side has the lead. They've got economy to fall back on, and GX, they're now going to start to feel the pressure.
30
But the
seconds
point I was making as well about now you're walking into Nats' setup. Just for reference, they did not find his cam the whole round. Like, he tagged 2 people with it. He was watching them with it, and then they walked into a trip. He even got a kill off of it, and they never found it. Like, that's the difference. And we're already talking about him catching up on the board. Like, 2 kills in the first half. In the first few rounds here, he's already had 6. It is looking like a different beast. And the scariest thing as well is, like, Nats is not one of those players that's going to get mentally boomed, or maybe you will have, like, tilted him. Like, he's done pretty much everything other than take that Champions Trophy home. And even that, he was very close.
That guy being 2-11 in the first half, he'll still play as confident as if he was 20-0.
Now it's my half.
I think it's not even that. He's like, now it's my round. Every round. I was going easy on him, boys. I like this little pixel peek. Patatek will spot them, drop down the nade, so any utility that comes his way is basically counteracted by a relatively cheap piece of util. And never mind, there'll be nothing coming his way. A flash thrown in just as that knife pops, but again, it will be cancelled. It'll allow this rotation to come through from the defensive side, where they leave mid a little bit more open. And now have Sova standing by, a reveal soon to be thrown through from Trex, although they've lost Patatek. Time running out here as the attackers really pick up the pace. Trex now has to work off his own util, and he'll only get 1.
That's really not bad.
30 seconds
They've
left.
come out of a tough situation.
Spike planted.
Managed to look good. Trip still not
there?
destroyed. There we go. Got there in the end. Somehow survived all of that. But with the null command in, utility is gone. Dash will be available once it dissipates, but at this stage they're almost just waiting. Nats is going to get the information, but well, ahead of it will be Camo. And now Nats is all that's left. 3 players to find, and even he, I think, has realized that this one is a bridge too far. Financially, they're still in an all-right position. He can look to try and make this costly, and that is the plan. That's the first. Second going to escape. That's decent from GX. They get away with 2, and they win an integral round.
And Nats gets out as well. Save that weapon through to the next, but yeah, for GX, this was do or die. You'll lose this. Momentum's obviously massively in favor of Liquid, but your economy's in the bin, and it looks like you just don't have the answers. This time, they had the counter. They moved that a little bit quicker towards the site, seized that space. Yeah, I mean, it's a shorty. That's not his fault.
Last player standing.
It was a great headshot by Westside
guys,
as well.
nice. Insane
really
round,
nice
boys.
stuff from
Good
down
job,
below,
nice.
but it was good positioning more so that gave him that opportunity. Now, coming into round 19, neck and neck. Economy there for both teams. Ultimates to play with. This is the turning point of the game.
It's aggressive. The start from Liquid was to fight, take control, and I like the smoke from Kiko. He's just placed it down in order to make them believe he's taken that control. So they're going to waste utility just to try and get past the smoke. They're going to sit there, they're going to watch it. It has just wasted so much time. Look, there you go, a drone. A drone has just been used to clear an angle that Kiko is nowhere near. Shout out the observers for just catching all of that. That's about 40 seconds that will be gone off the clock. And what have they got for it? Nothing.
And now that one way goes up, so your drone just comes through, clears all of this space, and now you're blocked out, even if you were following it. So there's no way to push towards the A site. Instead, they refocus towards B. Now on B, there's no shortage of problems either, are there? You're looking at the B site, having Nats sat down. The knife early is close main, so that setup is still going to be online when the push comes through. Flickless with no ultimate to play around to cancel out that utility. 2 players already here. A reveal fired through. Trex using the cage from Nats to cross over to the site. They're now stacked up, and they find a random pick through the smoke. This is going from bad to worse. Ara trying to recover on things, and even Cloud finding one. This is giving at least a chance. The breath not stolen away from GX just yet, but in the meantime, the rotates come through. 14 seconds. Spike has to be picked up. They have to push towards Kiko. He's repositioned as well. 8 seconds left. Finds one, and he'll get the third as well. A Red Bull clutch from Kiko, and a masterful adaptation from Team Liquid to get there.
Yeah, it was so desperately close though. Like, I want to give credit to GX for actually coming out of this position with an advantage. Like, they walk into a Nat setup, they walk into a quick rotation, they walk into a TP to the back of the site, and it still takes a Kiko clutch for them to actually win out the round. It's just the reposition, because in a lot of cases, he's going to have baited that. He's going to TP into the same spot in case a player comes from behind, but he full sticks it. And this is why you look at those stats of the best players in the region, and Kiko is up there for the entirety of this stage.
And they thought he was gone boathouse or sat behind the box, but no. A third option on the survey, 10-9. As we said, such an important round in that previous. Everyone had the ults, the economy, they put it all in, and they get nothing on the GX side. They find Cole in their stocking, and now for GX, a weak buy. Bits and pieces put together, the ult from Patatek slowing them down. And players, again, ready and waiting for this beat push to come through. 3 players on site from the defense.
You can understand it as well. A lot of the time with these sort of burst pushes, you're going to use all your utility immediately. Has the knife to go again. Westside's done well. The flash is sublime, but the shot's a little bit labored. Even still, they've come out with an advantage. Westside's going to be able to stick it in this corner. And has Cloud for support. Information not necessarily there. The flash dodged. But at this stage, it's very passive positions, and Trex on the repeak. Another triple. He's even going to go potentially looking for just a little bit more, and it will be Patatek to put the final bullet into Westside. 11-9. This defensive side once again extending that lead. While GX, they have got to dig deep if they are going to avoid that lower bracket, which we've already mentioned. There are some, for a team that needs to make the final, that would involve Heretics and Fnatic, and that's before we even talk about like KC and Na'Vi and anybody else they'd still have to beat. Heretics and Fnatic are down there.
For having been so close as well, having the leads. I mean, obviously Corrode, they managed to convert it, but here in Ascent, there was a time where all the momentum was in their favor, but that has firmly shifted, and now what could be the last stand of GX in the upper bracket, and Trex,
he's on.
He's toppled them, taking the feed out from underneath them. There's a push on mid as well. Camo closing in the distance, Westside under so much pressure, but he's saved at the bell. Flickless is here to take this fight with him, but Westside's isolated, and now it's only Flickless. Another clutch. This time he has to answer! And he does when called! A Red Bull clutch for Flickless.
Honestly, I think Pipson will kiss him at the end of this game if they manage to win this one. This guy has had so many high-impact rounds, and we've said it all the way through. It's been his assists throughout stage 2 that have been the big difference maker. In this game, it's been anything but. The guy has been fragging out. You'd think that Pipson might even be smiling after that, but no. Just this chill high five. A little bit different from Cloud. 11-10. They manage to, well, Flickless manages to keep them in the map. Oh, even the pieces of the puzzle starting to look a little bit barren. On the other side, a 1v1 that Ara has won. With Nats on a Spectre. This is a big advantage now for GX.
It's a crazy important pick as well, with Camo going down. Camo had the light shields, but he had the Outlaw. And look at how many players on GX don't have full shields to work with. It would have been a field day, and now with Flickless tagged, he could take anyone down. But that Outlaw's on the floor. Ara's out of the play. Nats is under pressure. Revealed, but he falls back. He makes it to relatively safe space. Hit by every piece of utility. The door can't be closed. It's already broken, and Westside deals with Nats. Now, the scoreline that looked to be Team Liquid locking in a 12-9 instead is again neck and neck with an in-zone flawless for GX. This series far from done.
Yeah, you blink and you're looking at a completely different game. Just moments ago, it was looking like Liquid were going to call this, or basically just take it over the line. And now they're calling a pause in a moment where they don't have the money to buy. There's not a whole lot they can even hope to do in this round. I think it must just be almost like a mental reset for them. Maybe try and pull something deep from the notepad. You know, there's a lot of preparation that goes in behind the scenes for the two coaches, Lohan and Yaltsin. We'll see if maybe they've got some sort of miracle play that they could throw into this round. I'd say this is almost definitely just a, okay guys, you've overplayed that, let's rein it in a little.
And it was, yeah, hunting down those last kills.
For the jumping classic.
2 rounds ago, yeah. It was, you could argue, a little unnecessary. But for Team Liquid, at 11-11 now, facing down the previous rounds that have played out, it makes me wonder, man, for GX, what is up with this team? Do they need to book like one extra scrim before they step on that stage? Because it feels like they are such a slow burner. But
3 or 4 rounds.
Yeah, just a couple extra rounds and then they're good. Because by the time we hit a map 2 and a map 3, you know, you could look at Navi yesterday and go, well, old man got tired. But we're going deep into the day here, and I can't pull that excuse up for Liquid.
The IGL is 21, so I don't think it works on the other side. And yeah, I think it's insane. Like how young everybody is at this server right now. I think Paditech might be doing us Unks proud. A chance for Trex, but it needed to be everything. Like, look at the buy. It really isn't enough. Paditech does have a rifle. That's their sort of small piece of hope, and we've seen those Stingers do damage in the past, but I think they were hoping to maybe tickle up a couple more players, especially because with Flickless's ult online, if he activates it, it doesn't even matter if he goes down.
Yeah, I think it's literally just, you see 3 players there, and it's an itchy trigger finger. Yeah. You activate that right away, but well, the danger's now shining through. That ult gone for the next round, and the pressure to come onto Trex as there are 4 players rounding that corner up close. Paditech falls on the site. That's a tough fight to win for Trex, and down goes Kiko. They have credits for the next at least, but this means giving GX the opportunity to hit 12 to guarantee an overtime.
Guarantee themselves a top 3 finish. Of course, top 2 is what they need. There is no option for them to qualify on points. It's all about making it to that grand final. And if they win the next round of this match, they are only a game away. It'll be them or BBL that will be the first team into that grand final. Of course, Liquid will still stand in their way. They'll come in with a bye. Come on, Fanats. He's going to try and make this one a little bit costly. It's not going to make a difference. Cloud, in fact, will execute him. We mentioned that IGL battle, and it seems that although it's taken a while, Cloud might have just come up trumps at the end.
Yeah, they were really hoping that someone got a little feeling of generosity deep within them. Bit of sympathy shining through, and they exited and gave a rifle in either direction. That's not the case. And this was a clean round from GX, as has been the case when we get to these penultimate rounds. One more to play for in regulation, 12-11. We've seen this on just the previous map, and it was Team Liquid who ended up falling. If that's the case now, they'll be falling all the way to the lower bracket, a stacked lower bracket.
Yeah.
GX will be 1 away from qualification up against BBL, who are in the same boat.
Fact is, right now, Heretics are ahead of them on points. Fnatic are already qualified. Liquid are making this one incredibly difficult for themselves. There was a world where if Heretics won the game earlier and Liquid won this one, they were both qualified and it was only one other team that could go through. Right now, it is looking like an absolute mess, and Fnatic might be the only team smiling. Everybody else will be panicking about the potential of dipping out right at the end of the year, and for Liquid, they need to do it here and now. Make sure that they get into that upper bracket match. Make sure they get themselves into that top 3 finish. Put the pressure onto Heretics and, of course, a team like GX. GX with 50 seconds left might just have one of the most important decisions of their career.
Surprised to see Cloud not playing for an orb. But now he makes it back around to A main. He may pick it up with a plant, and that could be the round done and dusted there if they get that site. But plenty of players here from Liquid. They've chosen the right battleground. Ready for this push, but revealed is Patatek in that corner, and it's been a lot of pressure put on there. The paranoia again. Even the Cloudburst covering the cross. They're going to fight much deeper in towards Camo, who's standing his ground. A triple, leaving Cloud all alone, and leaving the 13-11 in the minds of their opponents. There is no chance for that anymore. It's overtime, locked in with an in-zone flawless for Liquid.
This has been the weirdest game to read ever. I know that the Liquid fans have always had the stress of their team just leaving it so late, but the fact that it's an in-zone flawless to win the final round that takes them to OT is just madness. The last three have been all GX, all those moments of madness that have brought them to this point. And then Liquid just come up like that and make it look easy. We'll head into overtime. As said, the stakes for both of these teams couldn't be higher. Liquid, the team to make multiple internationals this year, but yet to really leave their mark. GX 2023 was the last time they graced an international stage. They have the chance to do it again.
Two suppressed. Flashbang.
Nice flash, but there's players hiding behind the wall. They were ready. Team Liquid, they've played a lot of rounds at this stage, and Nats is a clever cookie. They know exactly what's in the wheelhouse of GX. It's a solid opening, and the op spotted as well.
Of course, it's a little bit more of a gamble now. Unable to get those shields online. Flickless still playing in an aggressive position, maybe feeling like he needs to be there to turn the round. The drone isn't going to catch him. He's able to sit in the corner. It's not been checked. This is a surprise factor. He needs to go big. He needs to take more than one. And Patatek is there for the trade. That leaves Ara hopeful that maybe he can catch someone close to the door, but it's not happened. It's him and Westside who now have to face the 2v4.
Nice shot by Kiko too. Westside way ahead of the pack. Tries to catch it timing, but there's more than enough bodies there to watch every angle. For Ara, realization perhaps setting in. Got no shields, 4 players to take down, and off a start that's pretty solid, but the spam even more so. 13-12, Team Liquid 1 away from losing, and now they're on match and series point.
It's really come down to the tightest of margins. The story for GX.
Don't worry, I got this.
Definitely a tough one. A defeat here sends them into an incredibly dangerous lower bracket, and the fact is the coaching staff of Liquid feel like, okay, this is the time where we want to talk to the squad. Maybe throw in that last piece of the puzzle. We mentioned it last time they took a pause. They're going to try the same again. I'm seeing an immediate purchase that I don't know if it will stick, but it's the Odin for Trex. Of course, in the past, it was a mainstay on this map. With those walls on the B site being altered, some would say for the better. It's not really a popular choice anymore.
Yeah, I hope those people don't say that to me. It will enter an argument, but looks like he might be sticking with it. We'll see when we get out of this timeout, but I would love to see the ideas behind it, because we've seen before like the early peaks towards short, holds late on top mid alongside reveals. It just is a bit more situational of a weapon. Like, it comes with a lot of risks if you're going for that short spam, but they don't just swing out of short and destroy you over on market.
The thing is, if the coaches have called for it, like, you're not going to let your player just buy a random gun. This must have been part of the plan. A screen spam looking likely. He will potentially have to dart for himself, which definitely isn't ideal. But maybe just going to be some covering fire. There is the opportunity for the spam. The reveal is there, but he's not quite managed to capitalize. The early play not paying off. And Cloud is going to have to use this drone early just to make sure that they haven't lost ground elsewhere, which they have not.
Oh, he's going all the way around. Trex is going backside B, I guess, for the spams on the boat wall, on the switch wall. droning out B main now as Camo finds one on short. This is great. They've got fantastic information. There were 2 outside B early. Now there's no one there. You know it's an A hit, so rotates can already start.
Here's this Ara. He's managed to claim middle control. They put the trip towards the door, and they're watching in case he splits onto mid. The problem for GX is everything is ground to a halt. That initial aggression is not being dealt with. Flickless hoping that someone gives him a fight. Instead, it's going to come down to the last few seconds. Ara realizing there's nobody rotating for him to catch him with this trap right in front of them. It's going to be tough.
Nice flash, but it's turned on by Patatek! And he's found both. Spam is huge! Grabinho's barely holding on to life, and Westside, all that remains, that hope fading as Team Liquid claim the series. A long and hard-fought battle, but a 14-12 victory in overtime gets them that slot up against BBL. It will be a match to remember.
Oh, it is a match that has happened again and again and again throughout the last year, and it's been an entertaining one at that. Liquid will feel confident going into that game, but the fact is, they were pushed just like they were in the last week. They've been a team that had been flawless up until that point, and we were wondering if it was going to be the start of a losing streak, but the fact is, they have got that resilience. For GX, though, going forward, I don't think any team will want to match up against them. Of course, they'll head into that lower bracket. They are not yet out, but this team is now one match away from making it into that grand final, fighting for the EMEA trophy, and obviously the most important thing, they're getting closer to making it to champions.
That's what it's all about at the end of the day, and a victory here up against GX, who has to be said again, round of applause for them. They have surprised me every step of the way.